The email arrives at 11:47 on a Tuesday night. You're sitting in your cramped studio apartment eating ramen directly from the pot when your personal phone buzzes. You almost ignore it. Work phone is for work, personal phone is for your mother, and the occasional spam call. But the subject line makes you stop chewing. $50,000, 1 hour of your time, no one ever knows. You delete it, obviously. You're a forensic DNA technician at a mid-sized crime lab. You process evidence for the state. Rape kits, homicides, burglaries where the perp was stupid enough to leave blood. You have a master's degree in molecular biology, $62,000 in student loan debt, and a monthly rent that eats half your paycheck. But you're not a criminal. You're not even a little bit corrupt. You took an oath. You believe in the science. 15 minutes later, another email, same subject line, different offer. $100,000, same hour, final offer. You delete that one too. Then you block the sender. Then you unblock them. Then you sit in the dark for a long time staring at your phone, doing the math. $100,000 would pay off your credit cards. It would cover the medical bills from your father's cancer treatment, the ones the insurance didn't touch. It would leave enough for a down payment on something that isn't this apartment with its leaking faucet and its neighbor who screams at his wife every Thursday night. It's not even a year's salary. It's 1 hour. 1 hour of looking the other way. 1 hour of swapping a sample or altering a report or whatever it is they want you to do. You don't even know yet. You haven't asked. You haven't said yes, but you haven't said no either. The third email comes at 12:03 a.m. No subject line, just an address. A coffee shop on the other side of the city. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Bring nothing. Tell no one.
You go to work the next day like nothing has happened. You process evidence. You run PCR. You log your results. You watch the clock. At 5 p.m., you tell your supervisor you're not feeling well. You leave early. You drive across the city to a coffee shop you've never visited, in a neighborhood you've never had reason to see. The man waiting for you is not what you expected. He's not a gangster. He's not a fixer. He's a lawyer. He shows you a bar card, an ID, a business card with a real address on it. He orders a latte. He asks about your weekend plans. And then he slides a photograph across the table. The man in the photograph is wealthy. You can tell from his suit, his watch, the way he stands with his hands in his pockets like he owns the sidewalk. You don't know his name. You don't want to know his name. The lawyer tells you anyway. He's a prominent defense attorney. His client is a man with a lot of money and a lot to lose. The case is a high-profile murder. The DNA evidence is going to be the centerpiece. If the lab returns a match, the client goes to prison for life. If the lab returns an inconclusive or a contamination or a simple no match, the client walks. The lawyer doesn't want you to manufacture evidence. He just wants you to lose it, swap it, accidentally mislabel it. Lab techs make mistakes all the time. Contamination happens. No one would even look twice. You tell him you'll think about it. He tells you that's fine, but the trial starts in 6 weeks, and the evidence is already in your lab. You're already the technician assigned to the case. You've been assigned for 3 weeks. You didn't even know.
You go home. You don't sleep. You think about the science. You think about the victim. You don't know her name either. You don't know if she was young, old, married, alone. You don't know if she has a mother who can't sleep, a father who's run up medical bills he'll never pay off. You think about your own father, how he looked after the 3rd round of chemo, how he told you not to worry about the money, how you worried anyway. You think about the $62,000 in student loans. You think about the leaky faucet. You think about the neighbor who screams at his wife on Thursday nights, and how you've never done anything about that either. The next day you process the evidence. You log your results. The DNA is a match. You enter the result into the system. Then you wait. No one asks you to change anything. No one contacts you. A week passes. 2 weeks. You start to think the lawyer was bluffing, or that the client found another way, or that you've been tested and found wanting. Then, on a Thursday morning, you get a text message. Just a time, a date, a room number in the lab. The room is the evidence storage room. No cameras, no windows. No one goes in there except the techs, and the techs never go in there together. You have a key card. Everyone does. You stand outside the door for a long time, your hand hovering over the reader. Your heart is pounding, your mouth is dry. You think about the victim. You think about your father. You think about the $62,000.
You swipe the card. You open the door. You walk inside. The evidence locker is organized by case number. You find the box. You open it. Inside are the sealed evidence bags, swabs, clothing, reference samples. You've processed hundreds of these. You've never opened one after the fact. You've never touched evidence after it was logged. You've never broken the chain of custody. Until now. You take the reference sample, the one from the suspect. You place it in your pocket. From your other pocket, you take a different sample, one you prepared yourself, one that contains DNA from an anonymous donor, someone with no connection to the case, someone who doesn't even know they contributed. You seal it in the evidence bag. You reseal the box. You walk out. You don't run. You don't look back. You go to your workstation. You process the new sample. You log the results. No match. 3 days later, the defense files a motion. The prosecution's DNA evidence is inconclusive. Contamination is suspected. The lab launches an internal review. You participate fully. You answer every question. You express appropriate concern. You offer theories about how the contamination might have occurred. No one suspects you. Why would they? You're a model employee. You've never been late. You've never made a mistake. You're the last person anyone would think to investigate.
The case goes to trial. The DNA evidence is excluded. The prosecution's case falls apart. The defendant is acquitted. You watch the news coverage from your apartment. You see the victim's family crying outside the courthouse. You see the defendant walk free, smiling, shaking hands with his lawyers. You see the lawyer from the coffee shop, standing in the background, not smiling, just watching. You turn off the television. You sit in the dark. You don't feel guilty. You don't feel relieved. You don't feel anything at all. A week later, an envelope arrives at your apartment. No return address. Inside, a cashier's check for $50,000. No note, no explanation, just the check. You deposit it. You pay off your credit cards. You put the rest in savings. You don't tell anyone, not your mother, not your best friend, not the therapist you stopped seeing because you couldn't afford the copays. 6 months pass. You go to work. You process evidence. You log results. You attend lab meetings. You smile at your colleagues. No one knows. No one ever knows. You start to think it's over. You start to think you got away with it. You start to think you could do it again. Then the email comes. Same subject line, different dollar amount. $200,000.
You delete it. You block the sender. You go to work. You process evidence. You log results. That night, you lie in bed staring at the ceiling, doing the math. $200,000 would pay off your student loans. It would cover the down payment on a house. It would let you quit the night shift. It would let you sleep. You tell yourself no. You tell yourself it was a one-time thing. You tell yourself you're not that person. But you don't delete the next email. You don't block the next sender. You read it. You save it. You think about it. The next case is different. It's not a murder. It's a burglary. The suspect is a kid, 19 years old, already looking at 10 years because of priors. The evidence is solid. The DNA is a match. But the kid's father has money, and the father's lawyer knows a guy who knows a guy who knows you. You meet the lawyer at a different coffee shop, in a different neighborhood. He's younger than the first one, less professional, more direct. He doesn't ask, he tells. Swap the sample, $50,000 now, $50,000 on acquittal. You tell him you'll think about it. He tells you you have a week. You think about it. You think about the kid. 19 years old. He's already made mistakes. He'll make more. Prison won't fix him. It'll just make him worse. You're not helping him. You're helping his father. You're helping his father avoid the pain of watching his son go away. You're not a monster. You're a pragmatist. You're a survivor. You're someone who knows what it costs to be broke, to be tired, to be one emergency away from losing everything. You swipe the card. You open the door. You swap the sample. You log the results. No match. The kid walks. His father sends a thank you note, handwritten on expensive stationery.
You burn it in the sink. Years pass, you get promoted, you move to a better apartment, you buy a car that doesn't make strange noises. You start dating someone who doesn't know about your side business, who thinks you're just a dedicated lab tech with a quiet life. You tell yourself you've stopped. You tell yourself the last one was the last one. But the emails keep coming, and the money keeps getting better, and the cases keep getting harder to ignore.
One night, you process evidence for a case that makes you sick. The DNA is a match. The suspect is a teacher, respected, married, father of 2. You log the result. You sit at your desk. You stare at the screen. You think about the victim. You think about the teacher's family. You think about the $50,000 that appeared in your account last week. Untraceable, anonymous, clean. You think about your own family, about your father's medical bills, about the years you spent counting pennies, about the person you used to be. You don't know when you stopped being that person. You don't know if you could ever go back. You don't know if you want to. You open the evidence locker. You swap the sample. You log the result. No match.
That night, you drive home in silence. You don't turn on the radio. You don't call your girlfriend. You sit in your parking spot for 20 minutes, staring at the dashboard, thinking about nothing. You go inside. You take a shower. You stand under the hot water until it runs cold. You dry off. You go to bed. You lie in the dark, staring at the ceiling, doing the math. The money is good. The risk is manageable. The victims are abstractions, names on a screen, faces you'll never see. You don't know them. You don't know their families. You don't know the sound of their voices, or the way they laugh, or what they wanted to be when they grew up. You don't want to know. Knowing would make it harder. Knowing would make it real.
Your phone buzzes. A text message. Unknown number. One word. Ready? You type back. Yes. You put the phone down. You close your eyes. You don't sleep. You don't dream. You just wait for morning, for the lab, for the next envelope, for the next case, for the next time you get to choose between what's right and what's easy. You know which one you'll pick. You've always known. You just didn't want to admit it. The faucet is still leaking. You could fix it. You have the money now, but you don't. You leave it. You listen to the drip. 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 It sounds like a countdown. It sounds like a confession. It sounds like nothing at all. You close your eyes. You wait for morning. You wait for the next email. You wait for the next time you get to decide who you really are. The answer, you're afraid, is already written. You just haven't read it yet.